When you wake up tomorrow, your day is already designed to break you. There will be difficult people, unfair situations, things outside your control demanding your attention. Marcus Aurelius woke up to exactly that every single day, except he was the most powerful man on earth. The Roman emperor during the worst decade in living memory figured out something that still works today. You can't control what happens, but you own completely what you do about it. Marcus Aurelius was born into the wrong time, or maybe the right one, depending on how you look at it. He became emperor in 161 AD. That year his reign started with a plague. The Antonine Plague swept through the empire. Millions died, cities emptied, trade routes collapsed, mass burial pits, entire families gone in days. While the plague was ravaging the empire, war came to the borders. The Parthian Empire attacked from the east. The Marcomanni and Quadi pushed from the north. Rome, the greatest military power in history, was fighting a two-front war during a civilization-altering pandemic. And then his own people betrayed him. Avidius Cassius, one of his most trusted generals, led a full rebellion. Someone Marcus had relied on, confided in, appointed to high command, declared himself emperor. Most leaders would break. Most would delegate, hide, let the machinery of power handle it. Panic, lash out. Marcus didn't have that luxury. He was the empire. The decisions were his. The weight was his. The responsibility was his alone. In the middle of all this, plague, war, rebellion, the weight of ruling the entire civilized world, Marcus Aurelius did something strange. He wrote, not letters to generals. Not imperial decrees, not propaganda. He wrote to himself. Every night, in his tent between battles, he sat down and wrote personal meditations, raw thoughts, reminders to himself. No one was supposed to see them. He wasn't building a legacy. He was trying to stay sane. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. The obstacle is the way. He wasn't writing because he'd figured it all out. He was writing because he hadn't, and he needed the reminder every single night. Those notebooks, meditations, were discovered after his death. They were never meant for publication, but they became the most influential philosophical text of the second millennium, not because Marcus was a genius, but because he was honest about the struggle. Marcus Aurelius taught one core principle that changed everything. He called it the dichotomy of control. It's simple. There are things you control and things you don't. Things you don't control. What people say about you, the economy, the weather, your boss's mood, illness, other people's opinions, market crashes, betrayal. Things you do control. Your response, your effort, your interpretation, your discipline, your character, how you treat people, what you choose to focus on, how you recover. Most of us spend 90% of our energy fighting the things we can't control and ignoring the things we can. You can't control that your boss is toxic. You can control whether you set boundaries and find a new job. You can't control that someone spreads rumors about you. You can control your reputation through consistent action. You can't control that you failed. You can control whether you learn from it and try again. This isn't about accepting injustice passively. It's about channeling your energy where it actually works. Marcus Aurelius taught this through a principle he borrowed from earlier Stoics. The obstacle is the way. What does that mean? It means when you hit a wall, the wall is the path forward, not around it, through it. You want to be a writer. The blank page is the way. Sit with it. Write badly. Keep writing. The obstacle is the way to becoming a writer. You want to be disciplined? The resistance you feel right now, that's the way. Do it anyway. That's discipline training itself. You want to be strong? The hard thing is the way. The uncomfortable thing. The thing that makes you want to quit. Marcus applied this principle to his own suffering. The plague wasn't something to wait out and hope it ended. It was the way to learn leadership under crisis. The war wasn't a problem blocking his path. It was the path itself. This is the difference between martyrdom and mastery. He didn't accept suffering as noble. He used it as raw material for becoming better. He also taught something called memento mori. Remember, you will die. This sounds dark. It's actually liberating. If you remember that your time is finite, what do you actually care about? Not the thing your coworker said about you, not the follower count, not the car you don't have yet, not the slight you felt yesterday. When you really understand that you're going to die, maybe today, definitely sometime, it reorders your priorities fast. Marcus wrote, "Time is a river of passing events." You're standing in that river. The water flows past. You can't hold on to it. You can't go backward. All you have is right now. So what are you actually doing with it? He used this not to spiral into despair, but to focus on what mattered: virtue, discipline, and how he treated people. Not because it paid off, because it was right. Finally, Marcus taught amor fati, the love of fate. This isn't about being happy when bad things happen. It's about accepting that this is your life, this exact moment, this exact circumstance, this person you have to deal with, this problem you have to solve. Not wishing you had a different life, not thinking, if only things were different, but fully accepting, this is what I've got, and I'm going to make it work. When Marcus got the news that Avidius Cassius had rebelled, he could have spiraled. Instead, he wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." That's it. Not the rebellion that's happening, not the potential outcomes, just the next decision, the next action. The present moment. These four things: dichotomy of control, the obstacle is the way, memento mori, amor fati. They aren't theoretical. They're practical tools for dealing with a life that won't cooperate with your plans. Let me give you 3 specific modern situations where Stoic philosophy actually works. Your boss is unfair, critical, takes credit for your work, makes your day miserable. You can't control your boss. You can't make them fair. You can't change their temperament. What you can control, your response. You can do excellent work regardless. You can document what you do. You can set boundaries. You can start looking for a new job. You can decide that their opinion of you won't define your self-worth. The obstacle is the way. The difficult boss is teaching you resilience, clarity about what you want, and how to operate with integrity in a broken system. You tried something and it didn't work. A project collapsed. A relationship ended. You didn't get the opportunity you wanted. You can't control the outcome you wanted. It's gone. What you can control, what you learn, how you interpret it, whether you try again with the lesson embedded. Failure is information. The obstacle, the failure, is the way to actually learning how to succeed. Marcus would say, don't waste energy wishing the failure hadn't happened. It did. Now what? What does this teach you? How do you use this? You hit a certain age and suddenly it hits you. I'm going to die. Maybe not today, but I'm not invincible. Time is passing. My window is not infinite. This can spiral into despair, or it can become clarifying. Memento Mori says, good, remember that. Now, with that understanding, what are you actually going to do? What actually matters? What are you wasting time on? It's not depression, it's orientation, clarity about direction. When you truly accept that your time is finite, you stop doing things out of obligation or to impress people. You focus on what aligns with your values, with your character, with your purpose. Marcus Aurelius faced plague, war, betrayal, and the impossible burden of ruling an empire. He didn't have a life without obstacles, but he had something better. He had a framework, a way to move through obstacles without being broken by them. You have obstacles too, maybe not as visible, but real. Difficult people, uncertainty, failure, the knowledge that your time is limited. This week, pick one Marcus Aurelius principle and test it. Apply the dichotomy of control. Identify one thing you're fighting that you can't control and redirect that energy towards something you can. Or practice the obstacle is the way. Take one thing that's frustrating you and ask, what is this teaching me? How is this the path forward? Or sit with memento mori. Really think about it. You're going to die. So what are you actually going to do with the time you have left? The point isn't to get it perfect. The point is to think like a philosopher, to own your mind, to remember that the one thing nobody can take from you is how you respond. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Marcus knew that. That's why his greatest wisdom came from the worst decade of his life. Your challenge is here. So is your power.